Hey there, it's us again from Transcend Coffee. We're hoping that you enjoyed your first edition of the 50-pound Project Coffee. And we're here to talk today about the second one, which is the Sin Limitus SL28. And so maybe what I'll do to start with is talk a little bit about our relationship with Jaime. Jaime Carderas is the owner and founder of Sin Limitus. And I met him on my very first trip to Costa Rica back in the day when he was just getting going. And so Jaime is an amazingly dedicated producer in Costa Rica who I think embodies what we would probably call the soul of an entrepreneur. He started off small and has slowly over time, because of his quality and the price that he receives for his coffees, been able to increase his production capabilities, acquired more land, more trees, improved his mill, and although he actually still uses the exact same wet mill that he's had for a long time, actually, that hasn't changed, but his drying facilities have improved a lot. But yeah, Jaime's really an interesting character, and we've had a long time relationship with him, actually. My wife is actually, when I went to visit Costa Rica in 2012, I think, with my wife and my son Andrew, we visited. So there's a special bond actually between us and them. And the coffee actually that we're about to talk to you about today is very unique, and Josh will talk about it. But he actually gifted us a little bit of this coffee that sort of piqued our interest in it, because I forgot all about this, but I guess years ago there was a really bad windstorm in Costa Rica, and Jaime lost the top of his greenhouse where he dried all his coffee, and we sent down money for him to help replace that. And I didn't even remember that. And when we were visiting there this year, he brought that up, and because of what we had done, he wanted to gift us some of this coffee. So we're not selling you the gifted version of this, but we did buy the coffee we're selling you. So maybe Josh, talk a little bit about SL28.
Sure. So typically in Costa Rica, like the most common variety grown by specialty producers is actually one called Villa Sarchi, which is a mutation of Bourbon that was discovered in the town of Sarchi, not far from where Jaime lives, actually, in the West Valley. But people are starting to grow interesting varieties, new stuff, and so that's part of what this 50-pound project is all about. And this SL28 variety that we're going to be drinking, and that you're going to be drinking as well, is it comes originally from Kenya, actually by way of Tanzania. In the early 1930s, Scott Agricultural Labs in Kenya was looking for drought and disease-resistant varieties to propagate for the growing Kenyan coffee industry. So they went down on a mission to what is now called Tanzania, and they found some trees that they thought would be excellent candidates for that. They went back to their test facilities. They grew trees, and they found ones that they thought would be excellent quality for the Kenyan climate. And the most successful of these which came out in 1935. It's called SL28, and SL28 is like a very well-known Kenyan Arabica coffee variety. Kenyan coffees are known for bright flavors of berry fruits, black currants, dark like cherry, blueberry, blackberry, and intense acidity. Jaime got his hands on some SL28 trees from a friend, has been planting. You might hear it called San Roque. I believe they're also calling it that in some places, but the result is Jaime's style of preparation, which is like the West Valley of Costa Rica, at least where he is in Lourdes de Naranjo. I apologize for my accent. Has like very, very dry soil, and at certain times you get very, very but great volcanic qualities, just like in Kenya, and it grows really well. It's actually pretty decently yielding, which is nice. But then Jaime treats it with his. He's actually a very well-known honey producer, so like honey coffee, I should say, not bee honey. But he he's meticulous in his preparation. His drying is super well supervised. He manages it all like he micromanages it really. So what you get is like these Kenyan coffee varietal flavors. So like you get these bright fruits, but you also get this deep sweetness that you get from Jaime's preparations, and what you might be used to from our usual Sin Limitless coffees. So this is really exciting for us.
So Jordan, why don't you walk us through what you did there, and let's talk about the coffee.
Sure. I used our standard V60 recipe, again, to highlight the bright and fruity notes of this coffee. It was a great method for that. So I did 25 grams of coffee, 400 grams or milliliters of water, and the brew took about 3 minutes and 20 seconds. No extra stirring or agitation.
I saw you stir at the end, though. Why were you doing that?
Yeah, because the majority of the extraction happens at the beginning, so you'll end up kind of layering the liquid, especially in a slower brew. So I just like to stir it to make sure that each cup we have is the same strength.
Oh, okay.
And has the same constituents in it too.
Correct, yes.
So that's something you would recommend then for the viewers at home, is that if
Exactly.
you're going to brew this way, that at the end, when you're done your brew, give it a stir.
I kind of do that just as a habit out of habit with any method, especially the Technivorm. You brew a pot, you just give it a swirl, and then pour it into your cup. It's going to taste more even.
Huh. Yeah. I don't even do that. There you go.
You should start.
I learned something today. All right. So this coffee is very, very bright in a good way, right? Super
yeah.
bright.
Yeah.
So for those of you getting this at home, be prepared. It's a classic Kenyan bright acidity coffee.
It's got a lot of that, but underneath it is a lot of that same like brown sugar.
So
Honey.
much brown sugar.
I would say almost like the fruit is very much akin to sort of like a stewed or roast or dried prune, like sort of that pruniness, right? Like that really deep
I can
flavor.
see that, yeah.
Like that's flavors like that, honey process.
Yeah.
Totally. But then you get like the bright fruit coming through.
Yeah.
You
get like
there's
a
lot of
fresh
fruit in it.
cranberry. Like
Yeah. There you go.
And a nice long finish on this coffee too. Right.
And it has the mouthfeel of a Kenyan. Like it's clean, but it's very syrupy.
Yeah. So when Jordan says mouthfeel, for those of you that don't, maybe sort of clue into that. Obviously, mouthfeel is the perceived weight in your mouth of the liquid that we're drinking, and so water being the lightest in terms of mouthfeel, and then we work up to like a cream, which is the heaviest. And we obviously prefer a coffee that is heavier in body because it offers that richness in your mouth, which your brain interprets, rightly so, on the whole, as better quality. Right? That's why everything tastes better with butter, because your brain is going, oh wow, the silkiness and the smoothness on your tongue means it's richer and it's probably better for you. Biologically, your body's learned over millions of years that this is a better for me, and so the same is true with coffee. That nice, clean, heavy mouthfeel is typically yummy.
I also think that there's
There's a place for both.
other components to mouthfeel as well. Like acidity plays a component.
The acid is so nice on this coffee.
Yeah.
Lots of complexity. Really interesting. It's like a marriage of like the best qualities that Jaime is known for in his work, and what's made come back to Sin Limitless for the last 10 years. Produces amazing coffee, but this is like a whole new twist on it because it's like adding all these high tones that you normally don't get. It's really cool.
Yeah, for sure. One of the things that's interesting with Jaime, it's actually one of the only experiences I've had in Costa Rica, because we always struggle, I think, in terms of a company knowing how to ensure that our relationships are mutually beneficial. I think that's one of the issues that we struggle with often is coming to grips with how do we ensure our relationships are mutually beneficial, other than being purely economic, right? Like other than just an exchange of money for goods. And Jaime, one year when I was in Costa Rica, we actually had a Christmas party. So when I was there, we went to the store and bought a whole bunch of toys, and we bought snacks and cakes, and we went out to the farm because it was sort of, when I was there, there was lots of picking still going on, and Jaime's been using the same families to pick his coffee for years and years and years. They always come back to his farm, And so we actually threw a Christmas party for all the pickers, and we gave gifts to their kids, and that was a lot of fun. It was one of the few times I've actually had an opportunity at Origin to sort of engage in a way that was a bit more than your typical visit the farm and talk and wander through the trees and then get back in the truck, right? So.
Cool. All right. Stay tuned for coffee number 3. We're going to change things up just a little bit. We've had single producers with the same mill for the last couple. Now we're going to go to the mill Shumawa de Lourdes, owned by our friend Francisco Mena of Exclusive Coffees, partner in this project. But this is a coffee that's brought to his mill for processing that's grown by someone named Milagro Sanchez. We're going to go to the coffee for December is going to be a Caturra variety, and the coffee for January is going to be their VSRG variety. So you actually get to taste the difference between the two varieties.
Nice.
Sweet.